Hi guys, welcome back to another SSA Athletics video on the long jump series. Now if you want to watch the long jump series you can do, it's not particularly necessary in order to be able to enjoy and understand this video. Today's video we're going to be talking about the landing, or more specifically the leg shoot. Now if you could smash subscribe, that would really help this channel out a lot. You can also check out our Facebook pages, one to do specifically on training, but also another one just on what the club does. Also, we train down at Garren's at Southend, so if you want to join the club, you can do. We will train your children personally. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to land in the long jump pit. The leg shoot is an important part of long jump, and quite a lot of distance can be lost on that part of the actual jump. What you find with many people, especially if they go flat, they won't necessarily get enough time to slingshot their legs forward and land and be able to maintain or maximize the distance in which they jump. When we go through the air, we go through, or if you're doing a bicycle action, we finally get to the point where we need to bring both our legs forward. So from here, keeping our bodies tall, not trying to get 45-degree angles. And as we, at the point where we're about to land, we bring our feet forward, like so, and we bring our arms forward in this action here at the last moment to maximize the distance in which we gain horizontally across the sandpit. Another exercise you can do to improve one's long jump from the board and try and improve your takeoff is by doing a jumping lunge into the pit. An exercise you can do to work on a leg shoot if you're utilizing a traditional method of leg shoot and a traditional method of jump is to take 2 strides in, jump off the board and slingshot your legs forward, but don't retract the leg shoot. You're effectively landing in an almost seated position. I would only utilize that with more experienced athletes and not young children. Alternatively, you can work jumping off a box or a trampette or some other equipment that will help you get more height. And if you get more height, you get more time, you get used to jumping higher, jumping further, and also get used to holding that leg shoot for longer. Extend the legs out in front of us when we're landing. That is known as the leg shoot. We land with the heels first, bending the knees to absorb the momentum. Regardless of whether you're utilising a hang or a hitch kick, all long jumpers will utilise a Russian horse jump technique. Yes, I know this is Jonathan Edwards, but he has a really good leg shoot. That's the reason why we're going to talk about it. Jonathan Edwards brings his legs underneath him, brings his arms over and shoots his legs out in front of him, hence the name the leg shoot. This allows him to maximise his distance when he does triple jump. The action of the hitch kick allows an athlete who's potentially flat through the air to maintain their balance as they do the long jump. Notice however that if you're doing 1.5 or even 2.5 rotations with the legs, this can cause your leg shoot to be slightly shorter than the hang. Thusly, they don't necessarily get their legs out as far as someone who does a hang technique. Regardless of what technique we're utilising for our flight, we don't want to rotate through the air like this gentleman here. We want to keep the legs out in front of us, but how we land on the pit is going to be different depending on the athlete and what they do with their leg shoot. In essence, when we do the leg shoot and we land, we extend the legs out in front at landing and land with the heels first, bending with the knees to absorb momentum. Athletes will try and bend down and claw into the sand to try and minimise the amount of impact they make on the sand, as demonstrated by Jonathan Edwards here, and by this video of Carl Lewis. Now the perfect position for a leg shoot will be to have your legs directly out in front and landing like so while trying to avoid your bum hitting the ground. But that's not always possible for every athlete. And you'll notice as they land, they will twist and contort their body to the side. During the landing, the athlete is aiming to get their heels as far away from the takeoff board as it is possible. The ideal position is shown by this diagram, with the dotted line representing the projected flight path of the body's centre of gravity. The heels will need to land just before the projected flight path to ensure the athlete does not fall back into the sand. As the feet contact the sand, press the heels downward and contract the hamstrings, causing the hips to rise. As the hips rise, twist them to one side, which allows for forward momentum to carry the body past the landing position. A useful drill to help develop the leg shoot is the utilization of a crash pad and doing a leg drop on it. Also, if you are doing a hitch kick, you may want to practice holding yourself up on a bar and cycling your legs through to help that action as you do through the flight phase. And this can then be transitioned back onto our pad when we jump off boxes, then onto a crash pad, for instance. This can also potentially help the hang as well and the slide, although it's more necessarily for the
visualization. Maybe close your eyes and visualize yourself going through the action of the long jump, hitting the board, driving up, dropping the hips slightly, driving up, pushing forward, and then when you're in that action, walking forward, bringing into your flight action, bringing the arms and legs forward into the leg shoot. And that can help you with different facets of the long jump.